A regional passenger jet from Kansas has crashed into Washington's Potomac River after colliding midair with a military helicopter. The crash occurred near Reagan National Airport outside of Washington, D.C. as the plane approached the runway.
I need you to land immediately. Can you go to Dulles for a few minutes?
According to Federal Aviation Administration officials, a passenger aircraft carrying 64 people collided midair with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter while on approach to Reagan National Airport. As per defense officials, 3 soldiers were on board the helicopter. According to reports, the helicopter was participating in a training flight out of Davison Army Airfield in Fort Belvoir. The plane, American Airlines Flight 5342, had 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board. PS Airlines was operating the flight for American Airlines. It had departed from Wichita in Kansas. Well, there are no confirmed casualties at this point of time, but Senator Ted Cruz of Texas has said on social media that we know there are fatalities, though he did not say how many. A massive emergency response is underway in Washington, D.C.'s Potomac River. All takeoffs and landings have been halted at the Reagan National Airport. Washington's police has said that multiple agencies are responding to the crash. According to an official, dozens of firefighters are engaged in dive operations at the crash site in the Potomac River. The American Airlines has issued a hotline for all the family members and loved ones of those on board the passenger jet. The airline has further said that it will continue to release information about the incident, and the airline CEO has expressed sorrow over the fatal crash. U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a statement saying he has been fully briefed on the terrible accident. He thanked the first responders and said he is monitoring the situation and will provide more details as they arise. On his Truth Social, Trump wrote that the airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport and that the Black Hawk helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time, adding that it is a clear night. Trump questioned why did not the helicopter go up or down or turn. He said this is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Remember, there has not been a fatal U.S. passenger airplane accident since 2009. But a series of near-miss incidents in recent years have raised serious safety concerns in the airline industry in the United States of America. And these are live shots from the Potomac River near the Reagan National Airport where the incident took place. As you can see, a massive rescue and search operation is underway at this point of time. There is no confirmation on the fatalities, but sources say that a number of bodies have been pulled out of the Potomac River. There are serious questions being raised on the challenges which are lined up for the rescuers as the crash, as you can see, there's live visuals from the Potomac River where the crash took place, and the frigid temperatures there will further compound the risk of search and rescue operations. And well, for more on this, we are now being joined by Edward P. Joseph. He is a former U.S. Army helicopter pilot and also a senior at Johns Hopkins University. He is joining us live from Montenegro. Thank you so much for being here with us today on WION, Mr. Joseph.
You're welcome.
Mr. Joseph, you are a former U.S. Army helicopter pilot who has flown on the same Potomac River stretch where the collision occurred. Talk to us about how such a mid-air collision can occur, because commercial jets are equipped with something called TKAS, which is Traffic Collision Avoidance System. So how exactly did a commercial airline crash with a Black Hawk helicopter?
Yes. Well, first, let me say that this is a terrible tragedy, and my hearts go out to the families of the victims. And as you say correctly, that there are advanced guidance systems that are designed to avoid collisions. There are other safety technology, and of course, there's air traffic control nearby at National Airport. But we have to remember, this is the thing, and having flown as a U.S. Army helicopter pilot on that stretch, this is a very busy stretch of air traffic along the Potomac River. And you have helicopters that are traveling up and down. That's basically north and south, essentially, the Potomac River, adjacent to a very busy commercial airport, Reagan National Airport. So you have a lot of traffic. This is a dense traffic area. Now, I remember from my own experience flying Army helicopters on that river stretch, the main element of deconfliction, that is of avoidance of any such collision, is altitude. The helicopter maintains a low altitude over the river, strictly over the river, avoiding the approach to National Airport. That's the main form of deconfliction, so that the airplane, the commercial airplane, and the rotary wing military helicopter, or even a commercial helicopter, should never be in contact. But they're close. Both of them use the Potomac River as the approach. Both of them are using, the helicopter is transiting through, the commercial aircraft is using the Potomac River as its approach. Why? Why would they both be using the river? The reason is noise abatement. That's because, of course, the Washington, D.C., you're flying right over Washington, D.C., where people live, people are working, and there's also a lot of secure airspace over Washington, D.C. that is prohibited to air traffic. So they are confined to this corridor over the Potomac River, and that's why it's so dense. As you say, there's technology, of course, that should avoid it, but we know technology doesn't always work. Please.
Right, Mr. Joseph, I was just coming to that point you made there as to how the two planes managed to get so close to each other for a collision to take place mid-air. But let's also talk about the rescue and the search operations that are going on. You have flown through the Potomac River there, and right now there's no confirmation of the fatalities. But talk to us about the challenges which are lined up for the rescuers as the crash took place in the Potomac River in frigid temperatures, which has perhaps further compounded the risk of search and rescue operations.
You're absolutely right. This is winter in Washington, D.C., and I can tell you, I was in Washington just recently when there was a terrible tragedy. A vehicle, a pickup truck, veered off one of the bridges that crosses the Potomac River, that crossed from Washington, D.C. into the state of Virginia. And that pickup truck veered off, plunged into the Potomac River, and there was ice across the Potomac River. So you can imagine these big ice flows that very much posed a challenge for rescuers trying desperately to get the passengers from that pickup truck rescued. But unfortunately, tragically, they were not able to get there in time. So you're absolutely right. This is the dead of winter in the East Coast in the United States. And the northern portion of the East Coast, of course, is quite cold at this time of year. So that does pose a challenge. And, of course, it makes survivability for those who may have survived the impact, passengers on either the helicopter or the airplane. It shortens the amount of time that they have to be rescued. And I might remind your viewers here that there was a terrible crash back in 1982 when a commercial airliner taking off from National Airport crashed into the 14th Street Bridge, one of the main spans there over the Potomac River, again, into icy waters at that time. But there were some survivors who were rescued at that time in 1982. Please.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for sharing your insights with us on this tragic incident.
You're welcome.